Okay, so you can see I just got the achievement for getting a strategic victory in Chattanooga as the Confederates. So let me show you how I did it. I've recorded this video once already, and I fortunately wasn't recording, so I lost the way I could have shown what it looked like at the end. So I won't be able to do that, but I will be able to describe what you need to do. So there are three key hexes here in this scenario that you really want to hold. The first one is this hex. This is probably the most important hex to hold, because what it does, if you have a unit in this hex, any reinforcements that want to come down this way get stuck, and they can't get past this hex. So they all get stuck on you. So you really want this unit, Cleburne, in that hex. Now, you can't just move him there at the beginning, because if you see the command range of your guy, and I'm guessing that's totally deliberate, it's such that you can't just move him straight in there. You have to wait until the second turn, or until the attack. So what you want to do is position your guys so that they can attack that hex, because the Union's probably going to move a guy in there. So you want to attack with this unit into that hex and take that hex. And if you can't do that, then you might want to just restart and try again. Try the scenario from scratch. And then the second most important hex is it's not, yeah, I would say it's this one. So you want to get this guy, Cheatham, into that hex. And what that's going to do is any reinforcements coming from this way are going to get stuck in a traffic jam, and they won't be able to come in. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to choke off Chattanooga from reinforcements. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to allow the guys that are already in here to get blown by attacking your positions. And you're just going to slowly move your divisions in to prevent the Union from being able to drop their, whatever you call it, like units that are returning from being blown, being able to drop them in Chattanooga. So if you get your divisions close enough, they won't be able to drop their previously blown units into Chattanooga. So they'll have to come in from this way and that way. And if you have those units positioned there to choke off those avenues of reinforcements, avenues of approach, then they won't be able to get in, and you'll be able to hold you'll be able to slowly make progress here. So then the third most important hex is this hex here. What's this? Orchard Knob. For the first, I would say, like 90% of my attempts, I wasn't putting a unit in here. I was just leaving it as a detachment. And what would happen is the Union would stick a division in here, and it would become extremely hard to clear them out of that division, out of that hex. So it's much better if you get a division into that hex first, let them surround it and try to attack it, and get blown trying to attack it. Obviously, if you get a fluke result and they, get an advance result that allows them to move into that hex, then you might want to restart the scenario. And then the other thing you want to keep in mind here is that your units start a bit disorganized. So you can see you've got a Cleburne division from the Breckinridge Corps up here, but then it's the Hardy Corps, and then Breckinridge Corps, and then you come here, and then it's Breckinridge, and then it's Breckinridge, and then it's Hardy. So that's a big mess. It's not good for making attacks, which you want to be able to do. You want to be able to make attacks with the bonus that you get for having the divisions of the same corps next to each other, so that you can, have a chance of, if you can attack Union units that are in here, you can slowly clear them out. And my experience was that you get pretty good odds if you get two of the divisions of the same corps together. You can get pretty good odds and have a pretty good chance of succeeding. So what are the opening moves? What I would say is the first position I want to grab is this one. So I would normally, and it doesn't really matter who you do this with, but I would just move one of these guys over this way, and I'm going to move him into there. So I'll move him there to take that. Now I'm going to move one of these other guys, Breckinridge units, over there. So let me move him next. And so that I would say the next most important thing is to get this guy over here. So I'm going to do that next, because I want to make sure that they cannot get these guys over this way. So move him next. So you want like the best guys that you have to kind of like hold the flanks, because the flanks are the units that are most likely to get surrounded. So you want to have your best units there. So have him come up like this. So I'll put him right over here. Just like that. So what I'm doing here is I'm positioning these two guys to attack that hex. This guy's going to be the support. This guy's going to be the attacker. And if he fails, I'll just wait for the next turn, or I'll wait. If he fails and he retreats, I'll wait and to have him come back up and try the attack again. But yeah, I think if you don't take that hex, I don't know how you can win, because they can just keep slipping units down this way. And you can't just park a unit here, because if you park a unit here, they're going to attack it and be able to destroy it. So you need the defensible terrain here to do that, to make it happen. Okay, so I can move another unit. So now I'm going to move my hardy guys down. So move him. Just moving him over this way. I'm going to get the hardy guys, hardy divisions next to each other over here. So just like that. And again, I'm just trying to hold the defensive terrain so that they're going to have their divisions in clear terrain where I can attack them. And get good odds, but if they attack me, they're going to get bad odds. So just do this, put here, and then I'll flip him to tactical mode so I can cross the stream next move if I want to. Okay, so now these guys, this division and this Breckenridge guy, they're kind of like your free to move units. These are like your these three guys you have like the most leeway with. You can try different things, but in general, I think what you want to do is just keep them in the defensive terrain, and then maybe if you see an opportunity, you can position them next to one of your other divisions in that corps to do an attack with, so you could you could put him here, and then if he puts a guy here, you could attack with this guy against that guy, and it doesn't matter if he gets blown. But you don't want to attack with this guy, because if he gets blown and you lose that position, it's going to be a disaster, because they'll be able to come in that way. So if that makes sense. Same thing here. Like you can put this guy here, and then this guy can be the support when you attack with this guy from here to there, and that way you're not risking losing this guy in an attack, but you can just keep running those attacks like that and start to clear out this area of the Union divisions. If they don't, whichever units don't get themselves blown attacking you, you're going to have to attack them. So yeah, that's the opening. From here, again, it's going to be, who knows, it's a lot of luck and, making the right moves. Another thing I did is that as you get closer, they can't place their Union leaders in Chattanooga. And at one point, I was able to place my Union leader in Chattanooga. And what that allowed me to do is all of my units that were blown, I was able to drop them into Chattanooga, which was awesome. Really helped me. And then another thing that I did was, at one point, I just kind of got lucky. When my Union unit was, when my Union general was here in Chattanooga, I had the option to drop one of my detachments right next to Thomas. His counter was here in battle mode, and I dropped my detachment right next to him, which prevented them from dropping in their previously blown units next to Thomas. So they had to put him up here by Sherman instead, which was much more of a traffic jam for them. And then what else? I think that's it. And yeah, so I had my strategic victory path snake through here. I think there was a unit here, a Union unit here that I attacked just to clear it out so that it wouldn't have a zone of influence in through this hex. And that just gave me more leeway for the strategic victory path. Now, obviously, against a human opponent, they could just put their generals in maneuver mode and have their other divisions come around and surround you from this way. So, again, it's you're playing against the AI, you're not playing against the human. But again, it gives you an idea of how you might win against an inexperienced human opponent that would make that kind of mistake of not re-maneuvering the units to block your strategic victory path. Because I think the Union was even ahead on points by the end. So if he had maneuvered his Union divisions to block all those strategic victory paths, I think he would have won on points. But yeah, the AI is very fun to play against because it's good. It provides challenge, but it's not like perfect. So there are opportunities to beat it. So it's a little bit of a puzzle to figure out how to win. Is that it? Yeah, I think that might be it. Just keep your guys in the woods and then slowly pick off the whoever's the most exposed. Like right now, this guy's the most exposed, but these guys, I'm not sure what they're gonna do yet, right? So I would just kind of like move these guys back and forth, one hex at a time. So I'll just move him back and forth, one hex, one hex, one hex, just to see what they're gonna do, and then I'll just decide where to commit this guy later on. Once he's committed a bunch of his divisions and put them adjacent to my divisions, I can then move these last two divisions to wherever I want them to maybe do an attack on one of, like, so this guy, for example, I might want to move this Hardy division into here to do an attack on Sheridan, clear him out, because if I have this division here, I can do at least two attacks. I can do an attack with Gist first, and then or Gist. I can do an attack with Hard Anderson if the first one fails. But yeah, that gives you an idea. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's it. Oh, so I would recall these two detachments. I would always do that on the second turn. You can also recall this detachment, and this one I just left here because it was annoying. It was surprising how often they would get units blown trying to take out that detachment. Yeah, what else? I mean, I think if you get a leader casualty on Bragg, I would just give up at that point. In one of my earlier attempts, they had a leader casualty for Thomas, I think. So that would obviously be helpful. If and the more attacks that you do, the more chances there are that Thomas will get a casualty because he has 2 battle stars and you only have 1. So Thomas is more likely to get a casualty. And then the other thing was the artillery. I did have one playthrough where where we both ran out of artillery. On the playthrough that I won, I think we were at like 7 artillery each. So once I developed this opening sequence, I didn't run into issues with running out of artillery. Yeah, I think that's it. Whoops, I'll do that. I think that's it.